You've probably been overwhelmed by the chaos of information on how to gain muscle on the internet, but I have the solution. In this video, I'll show you how I went from this to this in a matter of 4 simple steps, with some extra tips at the end to look even more aesthetic. Every time I go to the gym, I see someone poker facing their way through their workout, not struggling at all. They pick up the weight, do a couple of mediocre reps, and then wonder why they can't grow their muscles. This is why the first step is to train intense. Think about it like giving your muscle a reason to grow. If it can pick up and move the weight easily, it doesn't feel the need to get bigger or stronger, so it just doesn't. You have to feel the muscle burning and actually doing the work when you're lifting the weight. As a guideline to see if you're doing this correctly, see if you finish your workouts like this or like this. You should always try to train harder than your last workout, which means doing more reps with the same weight or more weight and less reps. And doing this over and over and over again. Which leads me to something else I see, which is people going for a month and then some excuse or decrease in motivation keeps them out of the gym for another 2 months. Until they see a David Goggins video and get motivated and come back to the gym just to go back out for 2 months and the loop repeats. You need to be consistent. It's extremely hard to have a good physique if you don't repeatedly work on it. You make a little bit of progress, then lose it. And then when you end up coming back to the gym, you're back at square one. Imagine a car that could do infinite work and keep driving forever without any fuel. If it doesn't make sense that you don't fuel up either after your workouts. If you really want to make significant progress, you need to be eating like a motherfucker after your training. If muscle gain is the goal, you can either bulk, which means eat above your maintenance calories, or main gain, which is eat at your maintenance calories. I'll link a website below so you can calculate these maintenance calories. But if you don't want to measure everything you eat, my advice is just eat a little bit more than you think you need every meal. But just eating shit food all day won't give you all these big boy muscles, because you need protein. It's recommended that you eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So for me, since I weigh 75 kilograms or 165 pounds, that's how many grams of protein I need every single day. So now that you've trained and you're well fed, what's left? You need to fucking sleep. Minimum 6 hours. And for you watching this video, since you're probably 15 to 30 years old, it's recommended you actually sleep 8 to 10 hours. Doing a little extra work is not worth it because you're throwing away your focus, your wakefulness, and most importantly, your fucking gains. Many Chad here wonders how these Chads can have such better looking physiques than his when he has a similar amount of muscle. And when he asks them how, they let him in on the secret and tell him that. If you really want to know what it takes to have an aesthetic physique, it's knowing what muscles contribute to it. Your shoulders, back, and legs form that V-taper and X-taper, which gives your physique a very visually appealing silhouette. Doesn't mean that you should only train these muscles, but they're the ones that contribute the most. But still, none of what I just told you matters if you don't have a low body fat percentage. You could be built like a tank, but if you have grease covering all of your muscle, then it won't look good. So now you're probably asking yourself, how long does this take? Keep in mind at the beginning of the video, I said it was 4 simple steps, not easy steps. Building muscle in an aesthetic physique doesn't take much critical thinking if you know what you're doing. It's just consistent work and taking action towards that goal. If you aren't willing to work for 2+ years to have an aesthetic physique, then maybe it's not going to work for you. Point isn't to get in shape, it's to stay in shape, like everything in life. Point isn't getting married, it's staying married. Point isn't getting rich, it's staying rich. Having a good physique is nice and all, but knowing that you work towards something that there are no real shortcuts for, except that, makes you feel much better than seeing a couple of veins on your arms. So just to recap, train hard, train consistent, eat like a motherfucker, and sleep good.